know this person. Hi guys, how you doing today? So today I want to talk about how to get a job as an immigrant. So this video will be very useful for anybody who's looking for work, not just immigrants. So if you're moving to Canada, if you're moving to America, Australia, wherever you're going to, even if you're not traveling anywhere and you live in these countries, these techniques will be very useful for you to get a job. So if you're looking for a job, you can get one pretty easily. It just depends on the kind of jobs you're looking for. I got a professional job 5 days after I applied. And where was this? This was in America. Basically, before I moved here about a couple of months ago. I had a good job in Canada, a very secure job. It had pension, it had everything, it was safe, it was secure. But obviously, being a millennial generation kid, I need more to my life than to sit down and just be earning money. I need work-life balance, and I wanted to take a break from Canada. After relaxing for about a month or two, because of the pandemic, I'd been hearing stories in America that, oh, it's so hard to get jobs, unemployment is high, so it will be difficult to get jobs. So I decided maybe I should start, sending out feelers to see if there's like a job out there for me. And then I sent out application. 5 days later, honey, 5 days later, I got a job. So within 5 days, I had gotten a call from the recruiter. I had gotten an interview scheduled for the next day, and I had this interview on Tuesday. By Friday, I had a job offer, a professional job that pays me higher than I was earning when I was in Canada. So I'm going to tell you the tips that I feel are crucial if you're looking for a job in a new place, or even if you already live in that area, and I think it will be very useful. Number one, you need to bring your resume to the standards in whatever country you live in. So if you're in America, your resume has to fit American standards. And if you're in Canada, it has to be the same thing. Quite honestly though, I don't really see much of a difference between America and Canadian resumes. But just ask people out there, go online on Indeed.com and look at what resumes in America look like and what resumes in Canada look like. From where I'm from, we actually used to put pictures on our resume because the prettier you are, the more likely you will get hired, which is very discriminatory, but we used to do that, and obviously those things are not accepted in North America. So make sure you update your resume to the American or Canadian standards. Also, you can ask your friends who already live and work in Canada and hope they give you their resume so you could structure yours accordingly. Number two, stop relying so much on technology. Stop relying so much on posting your resume on Indeed and just going and sitting down. Stop relying so much on applying on the company's website and going to sit down. Honestly, those things are good, but I'm sure you guys know how there's always an algorithm, right? There are like so many HR systems that are trained to select resumes, so you don't even have a human being reviewing your resume at that first point. Stop relying so much on just applying online and going to sit down, because the amount of people that get a job from just randomly being picked from a database of applicants are actually very, very low. A lot of people get jobs via referrals. So instead, I would suggest that if you see a company, for example, if you're looking to apply at Alberta Health Services or the government of Alberta, apply online on the job board, but make sure you're also reaching out to people that work in that company online via LinkedIn or Indeed or wherever else you can network, and ask them if their company, for example, does AHS have a referral program? Can someone who works at AHS refer me, right? You would not necessarily get hired, but it just means that HR, human resources, would first look at those resumes that someone has referred, right? Because if someone works for the company and you refer someone else, there's a high likelihood that someone is willing to read your resume and say, okay, let's give this person an interview. So stop relying on just applying online and going to sit down. make sure you're actually go out, knock on the company's doors. And I know the pandemic has stopped all of that, but I am just saying that the more personal aspects of applying trumps applying online only. Send a random email, to someone. Just go online to their website, info@something.com. Send an email. Hi there, my name is Abby. I am an applicant. I saw this role online. I sent in my application and I was just looking forward to speak to someone concerning the role. So you've applied online, right? You have, but you've gone one step further to reach out to their information desk. So those people might send it forward to human resources, who has heard your name from two places now. You've applied and you've also heard from the help desk. So sometimes they would even go through the application to weed out your resume so they can look at it physically and say, okay, let's shortlist this person. But if you just apply online, then the system would just send you into oblivion, because ain't nobody got time. Even the system doesn't have time to weed through 1,000,001 resumes and look for the perfect person for the job. Number 3, and I think this is very key for a lot of people, make sure your career is more in demand than supply is needed. So make sure you are actually hot cake. For example, I'll give you a good example. Canada, the US, North America, in fact the world generally is very techy these days. So a lot of tech people are in demand. Companies need everybody that has tech skills and expertise. Project managers are in demand, business analysts are in demand, programmers, software analysts, data analysts. Those people are like in demand so much that wherever you go in the world, you're going to find a job. But if you're saying you're coming to Alberta and you're an oil engineer, that's no longer in demand, because there's obviously an oil crash and there are lots of engineers who are jobless right now. So if you're thinking about looking for a job, look for careers that are in demand, so that there will be a lot of companies that are looking for workers, so your competition would be low and demand is very high, meaning you can have about 4 or 5 offers, then you get to pick the one you want. So make sure your career is in demand, and the best way you can do this is that go to the Canadian Job Bank, or just go to Indeed.com and look for, just type in jobs that are earning above 80,000, or jobs that are earning above a certain range, or within a certain range, and it's going to bring out 1,000,001 job types and titles. So you could do a quick search and see, oh, I have seen in this first page 5 project managers. Easy peasy. Okay. Number 4, so this one also goes to show the interpersonal aspect of looking for a job. Get a job placement agency. So I told you how I got a job in 5 days, right? How did I do this? I actually used a job placement agency. And you guys would remember when I first moved to Canada, I told you guys I went straight to Kelly's because I'd used them in the UK. I'd used them in the UK, I used them again in Canada. And I went there, I spoke to someone, I sat down, had a cup of tea, and we just chatted. So she knew me by name. So anytime she had a job, she would call me, Abby, are you interested in this position? It's short term, and you could discuss like that. When I moved to America, that's exactly what I did. I looked for a job placement agency, especially since to work in America is quite different, right? I'm not American, I'm Canadian / Nigerian. I know, but I'm Canadian. And to work in America, you need to have a sponsor. So for me, it was even a little different, but still 5 days, honey, I did. So you need a job placement agency, especially one that is well versed in immigration processes and sponsoring a job applicant. There are so many. I'm going to put some links down below for job agencies in Canada and in the US. But yes, a job placement agency, what happens is that a lot of companies here, because they need so many tech people, they've hired these agencies. So what happens is that once you reach out to these agencies, they take your resume, they do a short interview for you, and then they start looking for their companies in their database, companies they represent, and they say, oh, Abby just moved to America. She has PMP, she has business analysis, she has an MBA. Do you guys have any roles that will fit? And companies will start saying, oh yeah, we actually need this person. We need someone who can do this. We need someone who can do that. In the job I do right now, I've actually never done it before. But they looked at my resume and they were like, oh, we think she can do it. And then I got an interview. 30 minutes later, the interview was done. 2 days later, the job offer was made. Very easy. So look for a job placement agency because they already have an existing list of jobs and they have clients that they could match you with. Do you understand? So you bypass the whole long interview processes, going online to look for the jobs yourself. These are a set bank of jobs and a set bank of employers. Number 5, to getting a great job. Update your LinkedIn. So I know a lot of people don't really like social media, but LinkedIn is key, man. Update your LinkedIn because that's the job, like that's the most professional social media platform ever. And when I say update, I also mean strip it. You can either update it with more things that you've done, or strip it, make it empty. And the reason, a lot of people wouldn't tell you that, but I stripped my own LinkedIn. And the reason is because if you're applying for a particular job, some companies would require that that's the only thing you've done. So you're going to have to super tailor the jobs you've done to elaborate on what matches the company you're applying for. Do you understand? The reason I stripped mine was because I was like, oh well, I had some experiences that didn't match the job itself, so I took those out. Don't be shady, but you can strip things off too. Make it bare bones if that's what you want to do. But strip your LinkedIn or update your LinkedIn, keep it up to date, and also ask for recommendations from people you've worked with. Because a lot of these job agency people, especially job placement agencies, they will not be reaching out to people you've worked with for recommendations, right? Because they are primarily referral based. So they would go on your LinkedIn to snoop. So make sure you have at least 2, 3, 4, 5 recommendations from people you have worked with. Good recommendations, because that would speak for you in the absence of a formal referral link or letter. Number 6, smash your interview. Smash it. Now let me tell you the thing about interviews. Interviews are not really to assess your technical know-how. At least this is my opinion. I don't think they are to assess your technical know-how. Interviews are for them to see if you're a great fit, if they like you. Do you understand? They just want to see, oh, do we like this person? Does our chemistry match with each other? That's what interviews are for. So a lot of people have been hired when they knew nothing about the job, and a lot of people that knew nothing about the job have been refused the jobs because they just didn't come across as, being approachable, being easy to work with, or being nice. So you need to smash your interview. But check back here later. I'm going to do interview tips from the perspective of an immigrant, and I think this will be very helpful for you, especially if you're coming to a new country. And the 7th and final tip for smashing or getting a job very quickly is give your references a call. The last thing you want is to be considered for an interview for a job, and then when your prospective employer calls your reference, they're like, oh, refuse, I don't know this person. Or they're like, who this? I don't know you. Why are you calling me? Wrong number. Abby? Who's Abby? I don't know Abby. Oh, no, oh, that girl. Abby. Oh, you mean Abby. Oh, yes. We used to work with each other like 30 years ago. Is she applying for analyst? Oh, no. She was actually a waitress. You don't want that, okay? Make sure you give your references a call. Give them a heads up. Tell them what the job entails. Tell them questions they might encounter from the interviewer, right? So you need to tell them, this job is going to call you. I applied for an analyst position. We worked together. Just remind them details. Just tell your reference all of this. Don't leave it to the reference, because obviously it's your job. So you need to control every aspect of the job. If you want your reference person to emphasize on your time management, tell them, you need to say I was early all the time. You need to make your reference paint a great, fantastic picture about yourself, which is why you need to use a person that is good and trustworthy as a reference. So make sure you update your reference and that they know when to expect a call so they're available for you. I actually just did a reference for someone even when I was in America because I was expecting the call, right? So that's something you should. And the final thing, which is not a tip, but applying for work, looking for work is a lifestyle. It's such a long process. It is work in itself. But I just want to tell you guys, don't give up. Just keep at it. You will get a great job and a job you like. But just make sure that you're applying all of these tips. Guys, thanks again for watching. Bye.